Good luck, have
Good
fun.
luck, everyone.
Now I gotta remember this quick pass.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another Edge of Eternity's team draft featuring Sparky Brown as our judge for the evening. And let's get into it. I've been on a bit of a cold streak on opening good rares, and you'll see that does not get broken today. I see Orbital Plunge there. Dubious Delicacy, Codecracker Hound, and Consult the Star Charts are all quite good. Last week I started with Consult the Star Charts and didn't end up making the deck. I still think it's good. I think Codecracker Hound is good as well. I don't know. I just think Dubious Delicacy, starting off with just one of the better removal spells in the set. It's just a really nice, usually a 2-for-1, or just, get you life when you need it, dings them for their last 3. It's just a very, very strong card. Lots of defensible options there, though, of course. Pick 2, we see the Biomech Engineer, one of the better uncommons in the set. Tragic Trajectory, Cryogen Relic, the best common in the set. And not much else to speak of. Again, any of these top 3 here are quite defensible, I would say. Tragic Trajectory, obviously just take another premium black removal spell. Seems good here. Pick 3, we see the Melded Moxite, which I like quite a bit, but the Zookeeper Mechan is just going to be a better red 2-drop most of the time. The rest in here I am not super fond of. Biosynthetic Burst is good. Halia is good, but requires committing to an archetype that can be tough to get there with, especially in a team draft pod. So moving on to pick 4, we see Focus Fire on Bombard, Uthros Scanship, which is decent. Kind of a mid-tier spacecraft, I think. I like Focus Fire the best out of these cards, I believe. Sammy's Curiosity is just fine as well, but nothing is really jumping out to me, so I just decided to maybe stick with the thought that I might be seeing red signals here, and just take the Bombard. Got a little start to a Rakdos deck here. Pick 5, we see a Selfcraft Mechan and Melded Moxite. Moxite, of course, would be another solid red card to go with my last 2 picks, but I think the power differential between that and Selfcraft is too high that I'm willing to speculate on blue a little bit. I think, just the, Selfcraft being in the pack pick 5 is more of a signal than Moxite. I feel that I, in general, value Moxite higher than most people, and I also just passed one in the last pack, so I feel like there's a decent chance that one of them could come back here. Obviously doesn't feel great after passing a couple of pretty solid blue cards, but so it goes. Last fresh pack here, we see Slag Drill, Scrapper, and Decode Transmission. Both I would be willing to play in most Rakdos decks in this format, but you know, taking the kill ship, you know, bringing as many of those onto our side of the table as possible seems like a stronger pick here. Pick 7, I think Beamsaw Prospector is, you know, a pretty solid black 2-drop. There's the Swarm Color back there, which could fit into, you know, the Rakdos stack strategy that I've sort of got going here. Pick 8, Wefstalker Ardent is fine. Bombard, this would be Bombard number 2, which I'm significantly less excited about. I also feel that I'm doing well enough on removal at this point that I should probably take a creature, so it'll be one of these. It'll be the Ardent or the Swarm Color. Ardent, you know, is okay, but being just inherently a 3-mana 2/3 with some upside doesn't seem like you know, it seems sort of fringe playable, whereas Swarm Color does have the flying keyword on it, which is always going to be relevant in team draft scenarios. I also just took, you know, the black 2-drop, which goes with it nicely. Sack it, make a lander, sack the lander. Keep the card flow going. So I think that edges it out a little bit here. And so as we get to the last few cards of pack 1 here, you can see I'm rooted in black and likely red, but open possibilities, of course. I have 2 okay red cards, but well, Zookeeper is pretty good. Bombard is just okay. But yeah, open to possibilities, of course. Still open to being blue if that ends up being open in pack 2. Or just about anything, honestly. And I think we should have a fresh pack coming around here any second. Here it is. The molecular modifier is it can be fine in a more aggressive deck. It being a 3-mana 2/2 is, you know, leaves it in the replaceable category in my mind, whereas Scar for Scrap, it really just helps you, you know, this can be kind of a grindy format. Card flow is pretty important. Being able to essentially tutor up something like Dubious Delicacy and then, or even, you know, recast it from the graveyard seems important. 2 of these sacrificey black cards came back. I still think the Swarm Color is just whoops, sorry about that. Swarm Color, even though it's my second copy, it's still just significantly better than the 3-mana 2/3. The reward it gives you, you know, drawing a card, is a lot better than just a power boost, and it being a flyer makes it, you know, much easier to get in there with. So yeah, pretty much guaranteed to be black at this point, and it did seem to be pretty open. You know, we saw 2 of the last 3 cards available were playable black cards, so good chance that it's pretty open coming from the right anyway. Hope to see some payoff in pack 3 at the very least, but in pack 2 we are going to be still open to the possibilities of a second color. My blue stuff, I would say, you know, it's more expensive worse on the curve, but higher quality overall. Could also think about splashing either blue or red. Pack 2, we see Orbital Plunge, Lost in Space, Mech and Assembler, Invasive Maneuvers. Larval Scoutlander and Cosmogoyf is the total dud rare, unfortunately. Looking here, I don't seem to be, as yet, I'm not super artifact heavy for the Mech and Assembler. I also think, it's good. It can take over the games, but so can a lot of things, Both of these red removal spells I would certainly play. Lost in Space is okay. Scoutlander is probably the best card here, but when I've already got a couple red cards I'm looking to play, the making a lander on Orbital Plunge kind of puts it over the top for me. I value landers pretty highly. Team drafted is just a 2-for-1 on a removal spell most of the time, which is pretty busted. So yeah, I value it even above the cheaper deal 3 option. Pick 2, we see Faller's Faithful, which is extremely strong and fits well into the sort of self-sacrifice theme I've got going here. See Covland Seeker and Beamsaw Prospector, a couple more Lander Makers, which I wouldn't mind playing. Faller's Faithfuls, of course. The much stronger option. Notable, we see the big green chonker guy that I had to play against last week and just barely managed to scrape the win out against. But it's not really a hate pickable card, of course. Pick 3, we see some sort of mediocre green stuff. The Sea Chip Agrarian looks like it could just be the strongest card in this pack. But I'm not super excited about getting into green now, and Nutrient Block seems like a great way to make what I've got going tick a little more consistently. Pick 4, we see another Bombard, the Caveron Harrier, which I'm not very excited about. I think the 2-1 just becomes irrelevant pretty quickly. And paying 2 for a temporary 2-2. If it were a permanent 2-2, I could see that, but having to sack it at the end, I guess I still took it there over just basically nothing. Pick 5, we see another Nutrient Block, the Mythic Sammy, which is, pretty close to unplayable, unfortunately. And not much else good. Drix Fate Makers, a decent green card, but again, Nutrient Block just might be one of the better cards in this pack. And I really value the cheap cantrippy kind of stuff. Take a nice depressurize here. The as has been noted many times, the lack of common dual lands in this set just puts a lot more pressure on your deck to be able to find its colors quickly. So with that in mind, I really like to, dig deeper into a single color as much as possible. That way I get to play, 10-7 mana bases instead of 9-8. And then, of course, like the nutrient blocks, the cryogen relics, even the melted moxite, just ways to smooth out your early game draws. It's just really, really important. This red tiger mech is just, there's just no way it's making the cut here. Caveron Harrier is still in there at the moment. Yeah, we'll see. First wheel here, Cosmic Goyf, not surprising. Temporal Intervention, which I think is a decent... it can be main decked, but I really like it as a sideboard option against Green Ramp in particular. They spend the first several turns playing out their lands and ramping, and then sometimes you just get to nab their top end piece and leave them top decking. I'm really well set up to get Void online and cast it for 1, which is nice. Okay, we see Beamsaw Prospector come back. It's just a nice little synergistic curve filler. Can be another 2 for 1. Is one of the premium 2-drops in by far my main color here. So at this point I'm feeling pretty okay about where things are at. Obviously card quality is could be higher. No rares at this point. Could certainly use a bigger game-winning kind of threat. Insatiable Skittermaw is certainly not the best game-ending threat, but take what I can get at this point. Pick 10, there's the couple of fringe green playables. I think I just opt to take the white 2-drop here. It can be annoying, like if your opponent is on the play, plays that on 2, and you don't have anything to block it with. You feel like you have to fire off removal on it sometimes. So just taking that off the table. Pull through the weft. Just I've been passing a little bit of green ramping stuff, so just figured I'd take away a potential high value green card from my opponent on the right, and we get a rare. Pick 13 Cosmic Goyf. That will not be making the deck. So yeah, taking a little look here. There of course was basically no blue in that pack, which is not super surprising since we passed a good amount of it in pack 1. Like I said, the card quality is decent. The synergy is fairly high. I've got some early game stuff that can cantrip to help find land drops. I've got stuff that makes landers. I've got lots of stuff that can be sacrificed. A couple of swarm colors, which are obviously not the best ways to sacrifice. I'll be certainly on the lookout for Embrace Oblivions or the Umbral Collar Zealot in pack 3 here. Those would certainly make the deck tick a little more consistently. Pack 3 we see Peregrine Beckoner, which I would probably like quite a bit. Another Tragic Trajectory, which I would also play. Depressurize. Would be happy with any of those cards. Even Oreplate Pangolin, I think would be a fine inclusion here. But yeah, it's hard to be comfortable passing the Glacier Godmaw in pretty much any scenario. We saw, a couple of decent green cards pass to us in Pack 2, but, they were on the expensive side. There could be, just weird collation. There's just no way that I could comfortably send along a Godmaw at this point, unfortunately. But, feeling pretty confident that I will get something good on the wheel here. And I'm not super picky about what it is. Pick 2, we see the Zookeeper Mechan, still a Reclaimer, Emissary Escort, or a couple more rares that are somewhat notable. I don't feel as bad about passing either of them, though, of course. Pretty unexciting stuff here, but the Zookeeper Mechan is probably just best for me. Again, just I have a lot of ways to make landers. I have ways to sack Zookeepers in the late game if I don't need the mana or ability anymore. Virus Beetle is a premium pickup here. Very happy about that. Would play just about any number of those that I see. Yeah, doing fine on playables here. The card draw options seem solid. It feels like my mana is going to be good. Heavy black. I'm not going to end up playing this Cabaron Harrier, so taking a red 1-drop out means I'm more comfortable playing the 10 Swamp 7 Mountain mana base. I'm good enough on removal that I don't need to play this Thaumaton Torpedo anymore. Yeah, that's mostly going to be the deck. Just decent curve, a nice removal suite, and some synergistic self-sacrifice to keep the card flow and land drops coming. That's sort of the plan. Servondum could be considered on the splash. Slide Drill Scrapper would be a decent inclusion. This would be Swarmcaller number 3, but Vote Out just seems like the most powerful option here. And once again, I'm feeling fairly confident that I'll get one of these back. Passing another Mechan Assembler, so somebody's getting a nice blue artifact deck for sure. Couple of okay blue cards. There's another Ore Plate Pangolin. But here, this is our sort of the big payoff of the draft. The Interceptor Mechan, which is quite good for sure. It's not a rare, but I'll take it. Pick 6, we see the Hull Carver and Plasma Bolt. I would probably be happy putting either of those in the deck. But the Territorial Bruntar seems like just the top end that I'm looking for here. I've got double Zookeeper Mechan and a bunch of ways to make landers. And I think that was the last fresh pack, so yeah, 0 of the the Bone Splinters. came my way, which I think if there were any in the pod, there's a good chance that I would have seen them. So that's a little unfortunate. No Umbral, Collar Zealots. On the wheel here, we see the Webstalker Ardent and Depressurize. I do a quick little creature count here. Depressurize is obviously the better card of the two, but a little low on creatures here, and I do have decent ways to, lots of things that make landers, which give multiple pings, which is kind of what you're looking for. But at this point, I do just feel like I need a creature to put on the board. We are certainly not seeing as much on the wheel as I would have expected. Ruinous Rampage is a totally fine sideboard card, though. All of my artifacts that it would hit are looking to be sacrificed anyway, so it's not like I would be losing a ton of board presence by casting it. Pick 9. Yeah, once again, I don't know exactly how this happened, but we just didn't really wheel anything that I thought we would somehow. So yeah, kind of a rough one. I still think I ended up with a playable deck. You'll see in the games that it's somehow still underperformed from even my relatively low expectations. Lots of problems with flooding and screwing and such. Pick 10. I think this was the pack that we were supposed to wheel something good, and we just end up getting third Swarm Color. Grav Blade Heavy, I guess, is a decent sized chonker. If I really need it. And second intervention for the sideboard. And that's pretty much going to be it. So yeah, looking back over it, it's, certainly possible. Feels like I could have easily ended up in blue, but just hard to know that at the time. And it certainly closed off after pack 1 when I passed some good blue stuff. This is actually Mike's Boros tap stuff down sort of deck. I guess I accidentally forgot to get a recording of my own build. But this is Alex's pretty nice looking Selesnya counters deck with double Halia, Anti-Causal Vestige, All Fate Stalker. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think.
I wasn't commenting on why you drafted so many. I just I thought that halfway through the draft. I was like, maybe the reason that I didn't stay in black in pack 1 was just that, not that black was being taken, but that only the worst 3 or 4 black commons ended up in the packs.
Yeah.